possibly you're here because there's someone that you care about that's a couch potato. Welcome and congratulations for taking that first step being wanting to make a change. Okay, and I'm having a problem moving my slides. I apologize. Chloe, I'm not sure what's going on. Can you take over the slides? Chloe, are you there?
Hi, sorry, I am here. It doesn't seem that I can control your slides. If you hit next, does it not move?
Not. Here we go. Okay. I don't know what was going on. I apologize to you all. So our agenda today is to help you move toward becoming more active. So I'm hoping that you will learn about something that moves you in that direction, maybe a benefit that you didn't know about, or a different way to think about physical activity. Or at the very least, you'll stop beating yourself up for not doing it and just do it. We will be doing some digging, just trying to figure out what's been holding you back, exploring what you've done in the past, and if that didn't work, why didn't it work, what could you be doing differently. So we will be doing some introspection, some mindset work, because that's very important no matter what kind of changes you want to make. I promise that you'll leave here with plenty of information and resources that will help you make this time different. So why aren't we doing it? The easy answer is that, the simple answer is that it's easier not to. We set our daily activities so that we don't have to move much. Our ancestors, you may or may not know, but they used to walk or run about 12 miles a day. And most of us these days are only getting 2 or 3 miles of steps, worth of steps each day. Desk jobs are the worst because think about what we do all day. You may be driving to work, you sit for 8+ hours. You can have lunch delivered. Many of us sit at our desks while we eat it. We're not even walking around during lunch. After work, drive home, sit, watch TV, work on the computer, go to sleep. So not much activity at all. Another reason that we're not doing it is because immediate experience very often outweighs future rewards. We would all be participating in more physical activity if we could see the results overnight. It doesn't happen that quickly, but I do promise that it will be worth it. Just need to be patient. In a checkup of our nation's health, the CDC found that less than 2 in 10 Americans get the recommended level of exercise, which is only 30 minutes on most days of the week. That's 150 minutes combined for the whole week of moderate physical activity. And it doesn't have to be done all at the same time. So it's really not that much to get benefits. Yet over a quarter of us don't devote any time at all to physical activity. So introducing the mouse potato, who's a close cousin of the couch potato. Mouse potato is even worse than the couch potato because we used to just sit down to the TV to watch TV and nothing else. But these days, think about all the things that we do from our devices. We don't have to get up to take phone calls anymore. It's right there. We don't have to get up. We can call in our food, order our food online. We don't even have to walk. I know lots of people that don't even walk, you know, to the bottom of the stairs to call their kids down to dinner. They just text them. So everything is done from our devices. And technology has definitely improved our lives in many ways, but one of the most serious side effects is that we have become so sedentary. And this is considered, being so sedentary is considered to be as dangerous as smoking. If exercise could be purchased in a pill, it would be the single most widely prescribed and beneficial medicine in the nation. That's quite a statement, and many physicians, many experts agree with this. If only we could take it in a pill, like taking a one-a-day exercise vitamin, and if only someone else could do it for us. We can hire people to do lots of things for us. They can clean and cook for us and drive us. You can hire a personal trainer that can help you become more active, but you still have to do it yourself. No way around that. It's the only way to get benefits. It does involve effort and commitment, but I will show you that it is well worth it. And you do have to keep doing it. You can't just do it for a while. You have to basically keep moving for the rest of your life. But my thoughts are that if you have to do something for the rest of your life, you may as well enjoy it. And I'll show you how. So let's do a quick review first of the benefits. Physical activity is very good for your body. Increases stamina. When we breathe more, we take in more oxygen. When you're moving, you're breathing more. You're breathing deeper. This oxygen is how we get our energy, literally. It goes into every muscle, every artery, goes into the brain. It goes into every cell of our bodies. Every cell benefits. Physical activity helps us manage weight. It's difficult, almost impossible to lose weight without considering nutrition. But nutrition itself isn't the only answer. It's way easier to manage your weight when physical activity is part of your weight management plan. If you've been on my past webinars, you've heard me talk about the National Weight Control Registry. This is a group of individuals. You can join online. It's a group of individuals that have lost 30 pounds or more and kept it off for a year or more. 94% of them lost the weight by increasing their physical activity. And usually it was just adding walking to what they were doing before. Improved sleep boosts the immune system. So while we don't want to do anything that's super strenuous, too close to bedtime, physical activity a few hours before, any time in the morning, significantly improves the quality of sleep. Studies have been done, one study in particular in the Journal of Mental Health and Physical Activity followed 2,600 adults who followed the national guideline of 150 minutes per week of moderate activity. And that amount provided a 65% improvement in their sleep. And the bonus is that when you sleep well, when you sleep enough hours, you won't feel so tired and sleepy during the day. So lots of perks. It strengthens the bones, builds muscle strength, and maintains joint range of motion. And we need to do all of these to age gracefully. We need to keep our muscles strong so that we can do everything we need to do. We need to stretch to keep our joints moving so that we can reach and push and pull and just do all the things that we need to do every day at every age. It's also wonderful for to prevent osteoarthritis, osteoporosis, and fall prevention as we get older. Physical activity reduces health risks. So it not only can it prevent health control, many studies have shown that it can actually reverse certain chronic diseases. So the benefits are just numerous. Also good for the brain. Produces the feel-good endorphins that improve mood, relieve anxiety, and ease symptoms of depression. So all of the studies show that it can be just as effective as medication for relieving some of these. John Ratey, who is a Harvard-educated physician, and he specializes in studying exercise. So he calls exercise the miracle grow for the brain. He has shown with animals as well as with humans that when we exercise, we produce a substance called BDNF, and this makes the brain more resilient, and it promotes growth in the neurons, especially in the hippocampus, which is where memory lies. So they've proven that rats that exercise, they have boosted BDNF, and they navigate their mazes better, and they heal brain injuries faster. They've also shown that kids who run around at school, I guess you could call it forced physical education, perform better on standard tests than kids who don't move. And as an added benefit, in these classes where the kids have moved around, there's less disruptive behavior, so less problems. The brain basically rewires itself in response to any kind of stimulation. So it lengthens our attention span, increases memory, boosts decision-making skills. That's the prefrontal cortex in the front of the brain. All of this by moving a little bit more. So doctors can't prescribe can't prescribe physical activity as a pill, but they can prescribe it as a behavior for their patients. Exercise is Medicine, wonderful website, and I'll show you the link later, is part of a global health initiative that focuses on encouraging health professionals to include physical activity when they're designing treatments for their patients. The good news is that just about everyone can do some form of physical activity, no matter if you have a health condition. And the number of diseases that are treatable by physical activity is continuously increasing. So you may get a prescription from your doctor coming soon. And he or she may just let you know what you can and cannot do, or possibly refer you to a fitness professional if you have medical conditions and you're not sure how to go about starting. So what's the first step? Many of us who don't exercise because we have health conditions are afraid that we can't. Because of those conditions, we're afraid we'll get hurt or we'll do additional damage. Many of us are afraid that we're not strong enough or young enough or flexible enough, any of those. But there is something that you can do, no matter what your age or your health condition. As long as you begin slowly, do it carefully, do it mindfully, and you'll improve. So on the right-hand side is a PAR-Q, which stands for Physical Activity Readiness Questionnaire. And if you've never participated in any formal physical activity and you're not sure if you're healthy enough or if you need your doctor's permission, you can go online and take a PAR-Q. And it will ask you lots of questions. It starts off with your age, if you have physical conditions, and it will basically let you know if you can start moving without getting your doctor's permission first. There is also an enhanced PAR-Q. It's called the PAR-Q Plus, which goes into even more detail. So if, for instance, if you've been diagnosed with diabetes or arthritis or specific conditions, it will give you more information about what you need to do and whether or not you need to get your doctor's permission. What's your why not? Or in other words, what has gotten in your way before? So the top three: no energy, don't know how, no time. As far as energy, I can't tell you how many times I've heard from friends, from clients, I felt so tired, but I took a walk or I went to the gym, did a yoga class, whatever it was, got moving, and now I feel better. I already explained that when we breathe more, and physical activity does get us to breathe more, get us to breathe more deeply, we produce more energy. So we feel better. Physical activity boosts endurance. It helps the heart and the lungs work more efficiently. How do we do it? I don't have a lot of time today to go into detail about exactly how to get started, but just a quick overview. There are 3 parts to having a healthy physical activity plan, a fitness plan. We want to do some form of physical activity, a cardiovascular activity to strengthen the heart. Basically, you want to get the heart to start moving, beating a little bit faster so that we breathe, take in more air. Important to start slowly. So on a scale of 1 to 10, rate of perceived exertion, where 1 is how you feel when you're just sitting there comfortably, and number 10 is how you would feel if you were running as fast as you possibly could. If you're just starting out, you want to be about a 4 or a 5. So you want to feel like it's a little harder to breathe than if you were just sitting comfortably, but you also don't want to overdo it. So when you're starting out, always gauge, ask yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, how am I feeling? And, start low. You can always increase the intensity. You can always increase the duration later, but important to start off slowly. So that's cardiovascular activity. We want to also participate in some form of muscular strength training because, as I mentioned, we need to keep our muscles strong so that we can do all of the activities that we participate in every day. And, every time you push something, every time you pick something up, every time you pull something, every time you twist, behind, even sitting in the car, turning to the back seat, that is all muscular strength training. And if we don't keep doing it, then we lose our ability to function optimally. And of course, flexibility and balance, important at every age, but becomes increasingly important as we grow older. Does anyone have any questions? I know Chloe is watching the question box. Please feel free to jump in. I'm here to help you if there's something that you have been working on, something you're struggling with, or if, please feel free to share successes if there's something that you've done in the past that worked for a while, or please jump in and let us know because I'd like to make this as interactive as possible. And Chloe's not responding, so I guess we have no questions.
No, there are no questions so far.
No questions yet. Okay. Yeah, I figured not. All right, so let's move on to the top excuse. I don't have time for exercise. We're afraid it might take away from other things that we need to be doing or want to be doing. But it's important to remember that there's really nothing more important than your health. There's nothing more important than self-care and taking care of yourself. You'll also find that when you move more, you'll do the other things better, because physical activity also improves your focus and reduces your stress. So that would certainly help to be able to work better with more focus, to be a better parent, a friend if you're less stressed out. One of the things that you can do as we begin is to identify your time wasters. So I'm big on journaling, whether it's journaling food or journaling activities. Just pay attention for a couple of days to what you're doing all day long, and think about how you might be able to fit physical activity into your day, whether it's at the beginning of the day, during lunch, during any breaks, end of the day, after the kids go to sleep, right before the kids go to sleep. Identify time wasters. We all have plenty of time wasters, so identify and just start to think about where you might be able to add. Schedule it. We schedule everything else, but when it comes to exercise, it can often just go by the wayside because something else comes up. So schedule it as if you were making a doctor's appointment, as if you were making a hair cutting appointment or whatever other kind of appointment that you would stick to. You can do your physical activities at short bursts. I've mentioned the recommended amount of physical activity as 150 minutes per week. That comes to about 30 minutes a day on most days, that's 5 days, but you don't have to do it 30 minutes at a time. That may seem daunting. You can do it in short bursts of time. You can, just walk a little bit further, park a little bit further. So many things that you can do, and give yourself credit for these short bursts. Combine it with other activities. So I'm not big on multitasking in many situations because it prevents us from being able to focus, but there are lots of opportunities where we can combine physical activity with other things. If you are taking your children to the park, for instance, you could sit watching from the bench, reading, checking emails, or you could be participating and playing and joining in, being a great role model for your kids. We are spending a lot of time on hold on phones, as you're getting switched from this department to the other department. Great opportunity to just do squats in the chair, getting, up and down from the chair. So think about how you can combine. If you're shopping, park a little bit further. If you take subway, I've had clients that have gotten off, one stop before, and it's usually only about a 10-15 minute walk. Adding that, take the stairs whenever you can. Just make the time. Combine. Anywhere, anytime exercises. So you don't have to go to a gym to do even strength training type exercises. You can, as I mentioned, do squats. If you have a chair, you can do squats, coming in and out of the chair. You can do push-ups at any counter. While I have a client who does push-ups on her counter while she's waiting for, the 2 minutes on the microwave. You can do push-ups on the wall if the counter's too hard for you. So many ways. I hate to exercise. This is the most popular for I've always been a couch potato. So what's your reason for hating exercise? Maybe you feel like it's going to be too hard, or you've tried it before and it's been too hard. You don't like to be uncomfortable, don't like to sweat. You've tried going to the gym and the music is too loud, don't like getting up early, it's too dark out, don't like to go out at night, don't like to be out of breath, I can't stretch because I'm too stiff. These are all I hate to exercise reasons that I've heard over and over again. And if I were coaching, we would explore and just, rather than, I would show you, rather than using this as an excuse, how could you possibly work around whatever your reason is? So if you are, just a couple of examples, if you want to go to the gym and you really don't like the music that they have going on at the gym, get yourself your own music. Load some of your favorite songs onto an iPod, or, just put it on your phone and listen to your own music. So what we want to do is redefine exercise so that it won't be such a negative. Recreate it. Redefine it. Don't even call it exercise. I don't know if you've noticed that I haven't been calling it exercise. I might have said it once or twice, but basically I'm calling it physical activity. It's not a workout if you're having fun while you do it. So instead of doing what you think you should do, start with what feels good. That's so important. Remember, if you have to keep doing something for the rest of your life, you may as well make it something that you will enjoy. Begin with the least amount. Many individuals stop exercising because they do too much, too soon, too fast at the beginning. So if you've never walked and you decide to go out and walk for an hour and a half on your first day, you'll probably be sore the next day. Doing too much, too soon, too fast is also a recipe for getting hurt. You don't want blisters. We want to develop slow calluses because we've been doing it a little bit at a time. You'll be proud of those calluses. Do 10 minutes at a time. Do 5 minutes. If you've never done anything before, then 5 minutes is more than you did yesterday. You can always increase it, but start slow, no matter what it is. There's a modification for every single movement. So you don't need to run. You can walk. You don't need to do push-ups on the floor. I have frail 80-year-old women that do push-ups against the wall. Intermediate would be doing them at the kitchen counter, as I mentioned. Squats is one of the most functional movements. And by functional, I mean a movement that imitates what we do all day long. So when you're squatting, you're basically coming down and going up as if you were getting in and out of a chair. It's a wonderful exercise that works the back, the core, the legs, the butt, everything's working, strengthening all of those muscles. You can do a couple anytime up against the wall if you're older or not as comfortable even in and out of the chair. So you won't see results immediately, but be consistent and you'll feel better within just a few days. And you'll see measurable results in just a couple of weeks. It's important to assess and evaluate. So wherever you're starting from is perfect. Even if you only do 5 minutes, write it down. Tomorrow you might add a little bit more. Next week, maybe you can go a little bit further. It's important to see what you're accomplishing. And find the right fit. What do I mean by finding the right fit? Finding the physical activity that works for you. This is a wonderful book, The 8 Colors of Fitness, and it was written by a woman who has a background in psychology and career counseling, and she did many years of working with the Myers-Briggs personality indicator. And she saw a connection between certain personalities and exercise types. So she wrote this book to help people figure out what type they are and to find exercise that they will enjoy. You can take the survey. It only takes about 10 minutes, and you can go to just Google 8 Colors of Fitness, and you'll come to the survey. So interestingly, she finds that some of us are job exercisers, and some of us are fun exercisers. We all know some job exercisers. These are people that are energized by figuring out exactly what they're going to do, defining, initiating, and finishing the exercise. These are the people that say, I did 3 hours of the toughest workout last week, and I feel great. So they love calling it exercise. They love planning it in great detail and then checking it off their list. It's not fun for them, but it's how they like to do it. Whereas the fun exercisers are individuals that love to explore. Maybe they like to connect with others. They're including dancing or different more spontaneous exercise, without planning it in advance and without making it feel like a chore. So she has, we don't have time to get into all of the colors, but she basically designates job exercisers, fun exercisers, and then adds more details. Her greens are people that love the outdoors. Her purples like to be alone. They don't like to go to a gym, and they don't like to speak to other people. Blues are more extroverted. Reds thrive in action-packed environments. Lots of different descriptions. Some love competition, but basically what she's saying and what I'm inviting you to do is to not be so tough on yourself. You don't have to be like that person who loves the tough workout 3 times a week. You might love to just, take a walk in the park and enjoy the nature, and you're getting benefit from that too. I had one client who I loved it when we were exploring what kind of physical activity would work for her, and she ended up loving her Zumba classes. She's a teacher, and she said, it works for me because I don't have to tell anyone what to do. I'm telling people what to do all day long. That's what I do with my kids. And here I'm in this class, and someone else is telling me what to do, and I'm, just laughing and having a good time. Even when we mess up, we just enjoy it, and I have a blast, and she's getting a great workout. So for her, that's fun. That's not a chore. That is fun. Do it yourself or hire a professional. If you have a physical condition, definitely check with your doctor. Your doctor will be able to advise you if you need to go to a professional, or you can start out on your own. If you're just planning to start out with, some short walks each day, then you should be fine. But, always to check with your doctor first. You may not be able to afford a personal trainer, a professional, long-term, or maybe you prefer to do physical activity alone down the road. But if you're starting out and you really don't know what to do, obviously we can all walk, that's fine. But if you want to learn more about strength training, if you want to go to a gym, then even if you can't afford to do it in the beginning, it's not a bad idea to hire a personal trainer for just a few sessions. And be honest. tell the trainer, I'm hiring you just for 2 or 3 sessions. I'd like to learn the basic guidelines of how to do exercise effectively and safely, especially if you have any condition that you're concerned about. Another advantage to hiring a personal trainer is that he or she will want to know all about you and your history. So your health history is very important. What have you done in the past? What have you been successful with? And what are your goals now? You may just be starting out, but part of your wellness vision may be that you want to do, a 5K run in 6 months, or, maybe there is a half marathon in the future for you. So be honest and let your personal trainer know what your goals are. Ask questions. If you're starting out at the gym and you want a personal trainer that can be most helpful for you. If you're over 50, let's say, then, ask, is there a personal trainer that is a specialist with individuals that are over 50? Or, if you have diabetes. So ask questions and pay attention. So it's not, I've been a personal trainer since the mid-90s, and it's not just about going to the gym and, doing your strength training and, lifting each weight 12 times. It's about paying attention to form, doing everything with a neutral spine so that you're doing it safely, never overdoing, and writing it all down. Whether the personal trainer is doing that for you and monitoring your progress or you're doing it yourself, be sure to monitor. You want to know when you're improving. You also want to find out whether you're doing it yourself or with a trainer. You want to find out what are the most effective movements, the functional exercises that imitate real life. And you want to find out what are the movements that are the least effective and could possibly be dangerous. So my rule, whether I'm teaching one of my yoga classes or training a client in the gym or in the home, if something doesn't feel right, if you're feeling pain, if it doesn't feel right, too much sensation, then you stop doing it, no matter what it is. Posture is important, so you want to move with neutral spine, neutral posture. You can learn about this online. What is a neutral posture? How should you be standing? How should you be sitting? This will help you in the gym and in real life. If you have a treadmill or a bicycle in your house that's been being used as a laundry rack, how many of them are, you also want to know about how to use those. Are you warming up? Moving slowly at the very beginning, really getting the blood moving. Are you cooling down at the end? Whenever you're doing physical activity, especially if it's cardiovascular, you don't just stop what you're doing. You cool down. Come down slowly. If you're holding on to any piece of equipment for dear life, not only is it not effective, it's dangerous. If you are planning to use exercise bands at home, all right, you can buy them at any Target store for under $10. You still have to know how to do it with correct posture. You still have to know how many reps to do, how many sets to do, and you can learn this even without a personal trainer. You can learn basic guidelines. And I'll show you some resources in a little while. So another option if you are going out to classes, to a gym, you can become part of a small group training versus private. It's not quite so expensive, so you might be doing strength training at a gym, you know, with 5 or 6 other people. Silver Sneakers program. I just needed to include some information about this in case you're not aware of it, but Dr. Kenneth Cooper says we do not stop exercising because we grow old. We grow old because we stop exercising. And this is so very true. I am a Silver Sneakers instructor, and I've seen so much progress with older adults, even when they are just starting out with formal physical activity, you know, in their 50s or even later. So officially, the Silver Sneakers program is for individuals that are 65 and older. And I'm guessing that most of you, or possibly none of you, are 65 and older, but you may have someone in your life that is on Medicare and would benefit from this program. It's a free program. It's paid for by insurance companies, certain supplemental insurance companies for individuals that are already on Medicare. So it's free. Get free gym membership, or if they offer the classes at a local Y or a senior center. Really, some of my best success stories come from these older adults who tell me now they can carry their grocery bags when they couldn't do it before, or, you know, pick up a grandchild, or reach to the top shelf because the shoulder is not so stiff anymore because they're not moving. So it's really just a wonderful program, and, you know, I hope knowing that it's out there, even if you're too young for it, you know, helps you realize that it's really never too late. So give yourself credit for being here and for wanting to make these changes. Natural exercise. What do I mean by natural exercise? Will be one of the future Lonzo webinars in, I think it's in about 3 months, is about longevity and how to live longer and better. So we'll be learning about lessons from some of the world's longest lived individuals. There's a great book out called Blue Zones, and it's about 5 hot spots where people live longer than anywhere else in the world, and they continue to be really strong and vibrant and happy, and, you know, basically they're thriving. So one of the things that they do in all of these hot spots is that they move on a regular basis every day. So Dan Boatner, who is the author of Blue Zones, says, you know, make physical activity an inseparable part of the day, each and every day. So the shots, the 2 pictures that are on top, those are from a little town in central Italy where my family's from, and everywhere you go, it's walking up hills. And I've been there many times, but I used to walk with, you know, I have aunts that were in their 70s and 80s, and, you know, I'd have trouble keeping up with them walking up hills. I'd be out of breath, and they would be just walking along. And the reason being that they do this every day. This is just part of their days. You know, walking upstairs, walking up paths. They, you know, go to church, some of them twice a day. You know, every time they need to do anything, they need to get out there and do it. And it keeps them strong. It keeps them vibrant. Resources. Fitness.gov, Exercise is Medicine, that's the National Institute of Health, and ACSM, American College of Sports Medicine. These are all websites, resources that I've used to gather some of the information that I've presented today. You know, especially helpful if you are going to begin on your own without the guidance of a professional personal trainer, but can't stress how important it is to move correctly. And if you are going, you know, my feeling is always that if you're going to do physical activity, if you're going to exercise, you may as well do it so that you have the greatest amount of benefits, and most importantly, you know, do it so that you are safe and can keep improving. Two wonderful websites for finding groups and activities. Meetup.com. Very often you can find out about walking clubs or, you know, free yoga in the park. Active.com will have information about upcoming, you know, races, fun races, not necessarily, you know, yes, you'll find out about the half marathons, but you'll also find out about, you know, a 2-kilometer, which is accessible, 2-kilometer walks in your neighborhood, maybe raising money for charities. Check with your local gyms and studios to find out about walking clubs, to find out about different activities. And one of the very best resources is always just checking with people that you know that are moving more already, and just find out what they're doing. And remember not to judge, not to be hard on yourself because, you know, what they're doing may not sound good. You know, but it will help you figure out what will work for you. So ask questions.
Hi, Carmela. It's Chloe. We
Hi.
actually just received a question.
Great.
The question is, how many miles should an average person be walking? You mentioned 12 miles many years ago, and now only 2 to 3 miles. What is the goal to look toward?
Yeah, that really depends. We often hear about walking 10,000 steps a day. 10,000 steps is about 5 miles. And, you know, that's the answer to the question is it depends. If you have very little physical activity in your life right now, then you don't want to try to walk 10,000 steps or 5 miles right away. Here, perfect timing, because here's my next slide. Resources using trackers and apps. So the tracker on the left-hand side, it costs about $10. You can get it at any Target, you know, or on Amazon, even less than that on Amazon. And this will track your steps. Check how, do a couple of days where you're not really trying to increase the steps. Just see how many steps you're walking. And then go from there, maybe add a few hundred steps, 500 steps to each day, and move slowly. You know, if you can get it up to 10,000 steps, wonderful. You might want to start doing more, because at that point, you know, if you decide that you want to train for any kind of race, then you may want to increase. That's part of the fun, just seeing your progress.
Carmela, we received another question.
Okay.
The question is walking preferred to running?
I'll always preface with, it depends. What are your goals? You can see benefits with walking. I mentioned earlier that all of the 94% of the individuals that are responding on the weight registry, they're walking. Most of them are walking. if you've never done anything before and you're starting out, I'm not seeing who's on the call. I can't see your ages. I can't ask you about your physical abilities, but you want to start slowly and work your way up. Move to running later, but start slowly so that you don't hurt yourself, so that you can get your muscles, there's so many physical parts that need to get used to physical activity. Your ligaments, your tendons, everything needs to become accustomed to moving. So you start walking, and then maybe, after a few weeks or after a few months, depending where you started from and how you're feeling, you can increase and start jogging a little bit, maybe just for a minute or two, do intervals, and then go back to walking. These are all, it depends questions, but my advice, without knowing more about what your goals are, and where you're starting from, which is the most important thing, is to just move slowly and just see where it goes.
Great. Thanks, Carmela. We actually have another question.
Excellent.
Any suggestions for strength training and flexibility for a second-floor apartment dweller? I don't want to do anything with impact that would disturb downstairs neighbors.
Okay. Strength training, actually, there is no impact. If you want to do it in the home, you can buy some weights, or you can buy the flexible bands that I mentioned. And there's really very little noise with either of those. I mean, you're not jumping around. Even doing squats, there's no jumping around, so there's no noise involved there. You can use countertops. You can use walls. Lots and lots of ways to get strength training. Get yourself a yoga mat, and just so you have a sticky mat, a soft cushion under you, basically, and you can do lots of stretches. You can do push-ups. You can do sit-ups. There's so many different things that you can do. But if you're doing it on your own, as I mentioned before, do your homework and go to some of those websites and find out what is the correct way to do it so that you are working effectively and safely. Can't say that enough. Effectively and safely is the key. Anything else?
Nope, that is the end of our questions.
Okay, and we are almost done, but I just wanted to continue with the trackers in the app. So on the left is the most basic step counter, and we've really come a long way. Lots of apps that can help you track how many steps, how many miles, your heart rate, which is another way to measure rate of perceived exertion. Over on the right-hand side is the ultimate iWatch, which is coming out, I hear, this month. So depending how high-tech or how low-tech you want to be, how connected to other people, because some of the apps, your results get logged onto the computer, and other people can see what you're doing, and it becomes almost like a fun competition. Again, you have to figure out what your fitness personality is to decide which apps would be most helpful for you. And of course, the expense. We go here from under $10 to I think the iPhone is going to launch at over $300. So start simple, and then you can always go up from there. Getting started, I'd like to take a moment or two to remind you about making SMART goals at the end of all of our webinars. So the very worst thing that you can do is to have unrealistic goals, to set unrealistic goals if you're just starting out. You can have a wellness vision, we've worked on that before. In fact, for those of you that aren't aware, there is a wonderful goals and wellness vision worksheet that is on your intranet on the wellness page. So that will help you, ask you specific questions, and help guide you to create wellness goals. But the goals need to be realistic. So if you've really been a couch potato for a very long time and you want to get started, is it a good idea to, announce that you are going to walk every day for 45 minutes? How confident are you that you can really do this? So make your goals realistic. Make them specific, not just I'm going to exercise this week. Make it measurable. How much time are you going to do it for instance? Make it action-based. Make it realistic and make it timely. So a better goal for you this week would be I am going to walk the dog after dinner for 5 minutes, 3 times this week. The dog will love you for it. And how confident are you that you can do this on a scale of 1 to 10? You want to be about a 9 or a 10 so that it really happens. What's the best exercise? So I hope that after listening to me for the past hour, you know that the best exercise is the kind that will work for you so that you'll keep on doing it. I hope that you're coming away from this talk with a better understanding of what kind of person you are and what kind of physical activity you can keep doing for the rest of your life. Finally, my reminder that self-care is a priority. So nothing at all can be more important than taking care of yourself so that you can become your best self. Thank you all for joining us. Are there any more questions?
Not that I see, no.
Okay, great.
Well, thank you for joining us today for today's webinar. Please join us in May for our next webinar, Relaxation Techniques for When You Need Them the Most. Date and time details will be shared next week via email, and thank you again, and have a great day.
Thank you all. Enjoy. Bye-bye.